ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن خير الحديث كتاب الله عز وجل وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, welcome to this orientation for this trip to Alaska. And just wanted to share a few things with you as we get started, inshallah. The focus of Travelight and of course Dar-us-Salaam, and this is why we kind of teamed up with Travelight. As you know, the focus of Dar-us-Salaam, the community here, and you know all the projects attached to Dar-us-Salaam. As you know, Dar-us-Salaam is a community building project, and associated with that are the projects that Dar-us-Salaam has started, the biggest one being Al-Huda School, mainly because education is where it all starts. The very first word of the revelation was Iqra, read, or recite. And hence Al-Huda School is a school that starts with the preschool, goes all the way up to the high school and up to the 12th grade. In addition to that, we have other projects that run. The Muslim Link, for example, we have a preschool. We have Aqaba Karadi, and we have Tulba University. We have the Da'wah program, the Islamic Information Center, and the Zakat Foundation, and many other projects we have running here, all to in the interest of building the community. But the objective, and the reason I mention all these projects, the objective behind each one of these projects is to glorify the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To glorify the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Can you all hear me, sister? Okay. To glorify the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To exalt the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And through that, to enrich our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is really, to summarize it in one word, to summarize it in a word, as they say, the whole idea, Sa'di, jazakallahu khairan, the whole idea behind this is to enrich our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because life is short, we're here 60, 70, 80 years in this world, and then we're moving on. This world here is a bridge to the real world, the akhirah, the eternal life. So the idea is to, whatever we do in this life, the idea is to generate that iman, to mobilize that interest, to draw closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of course, this is not to look down on anyone's level or look down on anybody's commitment. It is an encouraging endeavor. The idea is to encourage everyone to draw closer to Allah. Everybody, has their own levels, and everybody has their own standard of how they want to draw closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What we here at Dar-us-Salaam are simply doing is to provide the means to take advantage of, to draw closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What you do with those means is up to you. Because each one of us has a personal relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the interest here is that, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ, Surah 3, Ayah 110, كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ. You were the best community, the best nation, the best ummah that was raised forth for mankind. Why? تَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَتَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ. Because you enjoin what is right and you forbid what is evil. In other words, you encourage people to do what is right, and you discourage them from doing what is wrong. You encourage people to do things that are pleasing to Allah, and you discourage them from things that are displeasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, while you yourself at the same time are strengthening your belief with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it is with that interest that we teamed up with Travelight, and the objective of Travelight was the same, basically to help us to draw closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but through a different venue. Instead of a like what they call a staycation, to have a vacation, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to travel about in the land. This is something that is encouraged. Siru fil ard, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. Go about in the land, and to explore and to discover and to see things and to appreciate the beauty that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. So the idea is to provide a different venue to draw closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not the only venue, but a different venue. Because different, as we say, different strokes for different folks. Some people get interested by listening to a lecture. Their iman develops. Other people, their iman develops. Their iman is really energized by doing things for other people, by serving other people. Serving the homeless, or making something, cooking something, or giving money, or whatever. Serving people. Other people, their iman really gets energized by going to different places, by seeing different things, and being in awe of the wonders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. And to begin to kind of, when some of us, we get energized when we move away from things, from the hustle and bustle of life, the stress and de-stress of life, and we have a moment to kind of reflect, and then we begin to appreciate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So everybody goes at it in different ways. And inshallah, our objective here at Dar-us-Salaam is to encourage that in every particular way, because in the final analysis, the idea is, in this life, in these 60, 70, 80, 90 years, however long Allah wills for us to live, is we take advantage of it, this time, to draw closer to Allah, because we love Allah. We dearly love Allah. Without Allah, we can't do anything. And Allah has done so much for us and constantly keeps doing things for us, on a moment-to-moment basis. And the idea is we want to appreciate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the word Travelight, you heard me say this before, actually comes from the hadith of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, where he enjoined us to كن في الدنيا كأنك غريب أو عابر السبيل. Be in this world as if you're a traveler, as if you're strange. This world should be a place of, you feel strange. You don't feel at ease. You don't feel at home in this world, because the real home is the akhirah, in Jannah, inshallah. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have us go into Jannah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make that possible for all of us. That's the name Travelight is taken from that hadith, that to travel light in this world, to travel light in this world, and meaning that don't travel with depression, don't travel with negativity, don't travel with shirk, don't travel with nifaq, don't travel with hypocrisy. Don't travel with ingratitude. Don't travel with envy. Don't travel with hatred. Don't travel with jealousy. Don't travel any of these things. But keep your heart pure. Keep your heart loving. Keep your heart generous. Keep your heart patient. Keep your heart thinking good of people rather than suspecting people. Be secure in your relationship with Allah. Don't ever be insecure. So on the physical side, Travelight, and you will see today, means that we should travel light. Don't carry the whole house with you as you travel. Just take what is necessary, inshallah, and leave it at that. So having said all of that, this is our Eid cruise. Eid was last week. And so, inshallah, we're encouraging the community that let's all go on this Eid cruise, and Jazakumullahu khairan, all of you have signed up. And in the future, inshallah, we hope that more and more people will sign up. Yeah, what you see in front of you is it's not a building, it's a cruise ship. Okay, and when you actually behold it, how many people have done a cruise before? Everybody's done a cruise? Most people have not, huh? Most people have not. You've done a cruise, right? But the rest of you haven't, right? Hatem, you have never done a cruise, right? No. Okay. So when you behold the ship, really you say, Subhanallah. Look at how huge the ship is. And those of you that have been on these cruises, you see these 14, 15, 20-story ships. It's like a building. Literally, when you stand in front of it, it looks like a building. But then you say, oh, wait, it's in the water. This is going to move, So, and as you can see here, this is a small picture of it, but actually, is this the actual picture? This is not the actual picture of the celebrity cruise, right? Yeah, it's a ship, but it's not the celebrity cruise that we're going to go on. And this is the actual ship, because it looks like it would be taller than this. Yeah, it's from an angle. Okay. Yeah, because this doesn't look like 14 floors. Huh? 16 floors, okay. Yeah, so the 16 floors high. I mean, if you could imagine a building, you're talking about probably a 200-foot high building, So, but again, it's amazing because Allah Azza wa Jalla has said that He has, enabled the ships to sail in the sea. Like in the Quran, many places Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about this issue. And it's truly amazing the technology that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has inspired us with. Because when we go on, these modern contraptions, I guess you could say, like a huge airplane or a huge ship or so on, often we think, we just relegated at technology, but we should think a little bit deeper and think that who inspired the people to make a ship like this? Where did they get this inspiration to come up with something of this nature? And of course, the answer is, nothing but Allah. Allah Azza wa Jalla is the one who inspired people, whether they be Muslim or non-Muslim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspired these people to come up, with an invention of this nature, and that we can benefit from today. So this is the ship that you see. So the countdown begins. You have roughly 6 days, because today's Saturday. By next week, inshallah, next Friday, you will behold the ship and board the ship. And inshallah, this is a vacation. But remember, a vacation for us as Muslims means a little bit different. Okay, vacation, for non-believers, it means that you just completely let go of everything and just turn off your brain and turn off, you're just totally in limbo, and you just enjoy, pleasure. And so, and usually the word pleasure refers to the pleasure of the body. But for us as Muslims, the pleasure is, yes, as we know as Muslims, that the human body is made up of two things, the physical body and the soul. So for us, pleasure is on both levels. It's the pleasure of the soul as well as the pleasure of the body. So the different things we will experience, and you will see that the ship is, as most of the worldly vacations today, that you will see that basically is catering to the physical pleasures of the body. Okay, and normally the soul side of it, the soul food, is not mentioned much, or is not talked about much, is not reflected upon much. And inshallah, the idea with Travelight is to emphasize the soul food as well as the physical food, and the physical pleasures and so on. So for us, the vacation is not just with the physical side of things, but also to stimulate us and inspire us spiritually, because the idea is to come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So obviously the work and the stress, in this situation, you all can probably tell that a sister developed this PowerPoint presentation, right? Because see, vacation points to that side and stress points to this side. Huh? So to the brother's side. Did you all notice that? Yep. See how the stress and the work is
makes sense.
Pointing, it makes sense? Yep. Okay. So that's inshallah. Oh no, okay. So this is just how somebody may feel on that day. I asked my wife, who's that supposed to represent? She said, that's you. So, okay. A few housekeeping notes for today. There are refreshments, inshallah, on both sides, on the brother's side and as well as the sister's side. So feel free to get up and get them at any time. Inshallah, I think we have drinks as well, and we have tea. Tea, coffee also. Okay. So feel free to get the and don't be shy, inshallah. Also, in terms of your cell phone, just turn it off just for this presentation until we finish, inshallah. By the way, on the Q&A side, if you are shy, we're going to encourage you to speak up, inshallah. But if you're shy and you don't want to actually speak up, you're welcome to text me, inshallah, and I'll try to get to it, inshallah. Or you're welcome to write it on a sheet of paper and send it to me. And between myself and Sister Ambreen is the chief executive for Travelight. She's the one who's organizing this entire effort, the travel effort, and along with her sister Yasmin and her sister Samira as well, they're also working to help her. So the Q&A session, we have put it at the end of the presentation. You're welcome to write down your questions and ask. However, if you do want to ask during the presentation, I'm okay with it. And inshallah, if I don't know, between myself and Sister Ambreen, we'll try to address these questions, inshallah. Okay? Alright, in other words, what I'm saying is just relax. This is, we're all family, inshallah, and this is how we hope to carry ourselves on the trip as well, that as family. And so just feel free to speak up and ask a question if you have a question, inshallah. Okay? Okay. As far as cruise preparation, the first thing that we want to, things to know before you go, you want to check the weather. And in general, the weather is on the cool side. As you know, Alaska, you're going towards the North Pole, and it's very cold, during the regular, the whole year round. And this is the hottest it gets during the summer, which is kind of cool still. Okay, so the temperatures are, you're welcome to check on AccuWeather, and how it is. But in our research, from what we've seen, it's about 50 to 60 degrees, roughly, during this time of the year. When over here it's like 90 to 100, 110 degrees sometimes. But over there it's more in the 50 to 60. This is the hottest it gets during the year. And that's why most of your cruises to Alaska are planned in the summer. In July, August, in that area. You won't see a cruise, I think, to Alaska in December or January. Huh? Okay, the next thing is, these are all, in preparation, things to do, to know and to do before you go. Make sure your passport is valid for 6 months. Okay, at least 6 months. Okay. Is there anybody in the room who would like to go there and then just come back without getting on the cruise and pay all the money? Anybody? Well, if you want to do that, just FYI, if you want to do that, make sure your passport is not 6 months.
Why do we need a passport?
Because we're going to go to Canada. On the very end, there's a place in Canada that we're going to stop at. So if you want to waste your money, if you're in the mood to just waste your money and just go there and then come back without going, make sure your passport is not valid more than 6 months.
So if you don't have your passport, you can't even get on the cruise?
They will send you back.
Meaning like all the cruise you cannot even go on to it?
No.
Just because you're going to stop in one place?
Yeah.
You can't just stay on the ship at that stop?
No. As a matter of fact, that's one of the questions that we asked them. And they said, no, you can't even stay on the ship. If your passport is not valid more than 6 months, they will send you back. They will send you back.
You can't board.
You can't board.
From day one.
And from day one. You cannot board. You cannot board. So if you don't want to board and you want to make dua for the rest of us, you're welcome to. But I don't think you'll be in the mood to make dua at that time.
And everybody has everybody done the online check-in?
Yeah, we're coming to that. We're going to come to that also. But yeah, if you haven't done your online check-in, then you should do it right away. Okay, but we're going to come to that in just a second. Okay, so your passport must be valid for at least 6 months. At least 6 months. Okay? Okay. Okay, the next thing is check your phone service provider for phone charges on the cruise. There are different packages. Even in your folder, there's a sheet in there that how to manage your cell phone data and so on. You're welcome to take a look at that, but that's something you definitely want to make sure that your phone, because if you want to have access to the internet and Wi-Fi and all of that, you want to make sure that your phone service is in line. You don't want to get on board and say, oh, what happened to my phone? Like me. Okay, so you want to just make sure that your phone is working, inshallah. Okay. And you're whatever service you're getting, that you straighten it out and make sure that it will work on the cruise. Okay. Because as you know, we'll be going out to sea and so on. Okay. The next thing is that purchase your shore excursions before the 4th of July. Okay, now what is a shore excursion? We'll talk about that later in more detail. But a shore excursion is that, in some of these areas, as we go on the cruise, we will disembark, right? We will come off the ship. Now, it's not mandatory that you're not compelled to come off the ship. You can stay on the ship if you'd like. But the idea is if you're going all the way to Alaska, do get off the ship and see what else is there in those places that we get off in. And we'll talk about that in more detail in just a few minutes. But there are certain areas we will get off in. Like in Canada, I think it's Victoria that we will get off at, and I think there's Bouchette Gardens or Bouchette Gardens, something like that. It's a very beautiful gardens. That's the place in Canada. But in America, we will get off in, there's a place known as Ketchikan, and there's a place known as Juneau, the capital of Alaska. And then there's a place known as Skagway. We will get off in these places. So, an offshore incursion or excursion, a shore excursion, basically what that is that they have activities that go on, once you get on shore. Like for example, a tour of the city. They have different other activities, like you can ride a train, you can go whale watching. They have many different activities, and these activities are called excursions. Okay, that you go and you participate in some activity. Of course, you have to pay for those activities, depending on what you would like. Like, for example, there's one beautiful train ride. I think it costs $129 per person. We'll talk about that in just a second in more detail. There are tours of the city that you can take, like a car tour, like a rail tour, and so on, like a bus tour, and things of that nature. So you can take a hike as well, like go and hike in the forest there, and so on. I mean, there are different activities, and again, we'll talk about that in more detail in just a few minutes. But that's what it means. That if the idea is that you can go online and go to the website and see which excursions you are interested in and register for them now, like ASAP. Today is the 1st of July, so before the 4th of July, register for the ones that you want, because you don't want to wait till the last minute, because there might be a huge line, or all the vehicles are taken already, that the train is packed already if you want to go on the train, or the car ride, or the bus tour is already packed because people registered ahead of time, and so on. So you definitely want to take a look at that today and tomorrow, and register for the ones that you are interested in. Inshallah.
Is there going to be any coordination in the group, like if people want to go with the rest of the group on these excursions?
Inshallah, we're going to come to some suggested excursions, and that we are recommending. We'll come to that a little bit later, but we can, definitely we can coordinate. We can coordinate. I mean, if you'd like, just send us, on which ones you would like to go to, and then we can see if everybody else wants to go, and so on. Like, for example, some of the whale watching, like personally, I really wanted to go on that, but the cost is very steep. I think it's like $320 or $50? Yeah, per person, So so it just depends. For different people, it's going to be different things, and so on. Right. Like, again, different strokes for different folks. I mean, for example, some are more adventure-driven. There are others that are more on the novelty side, right? To go and see various things in the city, and things that people, crafts and things of that nature, and so on. So yeah, but we can try, inshallah, and see if people want to do that. Okay. But at the same time, we didn't put that in terms of going as a group, because we wanted everybody to have their freedom, because some people may just want to go with their spouse and so on. But at the same time, we don't want you to feel as if you're encroaching on other people if you want to go as a group as well. So, I mean, both options are available. Whatever you feel comfortable with, inshallah, is fine. Okay. At the same time, while you purchase, if you are interested in the shore excursion, there are on-board services as well. And again, you can go to that link there and see all the different on-board services. And later on, we have a slide. We'll show you some of them, inshallah. There's also a beverage package that you have to purchase. And again, you're welcome to go to that link. Basically, the whole thing is that they have different beverage packages. And either you can have a package, I'm just briefly saying this, where you can have a water that you purchase, I think it's $16 a day per person. Or you can get the more fancier package of, like smoothies and sodas and coffee and tea and different types of coffee, whatever. And teas and so on. And those packages are more expensive, okay? But in the lunch and dinner, I think you do get water, right? Yeah, from what I understand, that you do get water, and there are drinks that you get there as well. But outside of that, outside of the meals, if you like water in your cabin, in your room, and so on, then you'll have to order it extra.
So you don't have to purchase a beverage package?
No, you don't have to. You don't have to, but if you want water, you can't carry water on board. You have to purchase it from them. Okay? So if you want water outside of that, the outside of the meal times, and then you'll have to purchase it, or drinks or anything. Okay, and I'm reading, inshallah. If I miss anything, just step in. Okay.
Some of the other cruise lines, I have to check with
Repeat
them. Some of the other cruise ships, they let you bring your own sodas and water or whatnot, but I don't know about celebrities, so I have to check with them. If they don't allow, then we pretty much have to purchase the water package, because I did check with them yesterday, and they said that they have a mini bar in the room, and then if you get water inside the room, the water bottle is pretty expensive, as you know, in the hotels, and like each bottle is like around $3 or so. So to avoid that, you have to purchase that water package, and it's like I think $16 or so.
$16 per person per day, right?
Yeah,
That's
$16 per day, and then that will make you can go wherever, that bar or whatever, and can get that water bottled and can bring those water in the room. But you can always get water in the restaurant and whatnot, but to get the water bottles in the room, then you have to purchase that water package.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Did you all hear that? Barely? Okay. Basically, what she's saying is that she's going to check with Celebrity Cruises just to make sure that if you can carry water on board. But her impression is that you cannot, but she will just make sure, and she'll send us all an email to confirm that. If you need water outside of the meals, then it's better that you purchase. Of course, you're welcome to use the water inside the cabin, inside your room, but it costs an arm and a leg. Just like at the hotels, it costs a lot more. It's probably cheaper to buy. So the package. So $16 a day times 7 days, you're talking about $112. So that's $112 per person extra on the water outside of the meals. Now you may be able to take water back from the meals. The cruise that when we went to check it out, they don't have guards at the doors or anything of that nature. So. But at the same time, you don't want to take your suitcase and take water. So, okay. So that's the beverage package, inshallah. Travelight, again, it's, we are emphasizing this issue, just take what you need to take and not more than that. Some of the essential things, medications, your medications, whatever medications you normally take for whatever, ailments or issues that you have, and make sure you take your medications, you pack your medications. If you have the issue of motion sickness, then inshallah take your kit with you, whatever that is composed of, whether it's medications or bands or patches, whatever it may be. So make sure you pack that with you, your motion sickness kit, whatever you need. The clothing, is kind of like winter clothing. Jackets, sweaters, gloves, and one of the things that they mentioned was, and this I had never seen this before, but they mentioned there's something called a wind jammer. Has anybody heard of that term?
Yeah.
Wind jammer, yeah. That's the first time I heard of this, but anyway, so they encourage you to take what they call wind jammers. I guess there are a specific type of jackets. So
is it because there's a constant wind when you're on the ship?
Yeah. You'll feel a wind on the ship. It's a cool breeze. And this is based on the weather, and roughly 50 to 60, 70 degrees perhaps. I think from what I remember is about 60, 65 degrees. It may get to 70 degrees sometimes. Umbrella, because sometimes it may be there may be a cool mist that's falling or rain and stuff because it doesn't get rainy in that area. Walking shoes, inshallah, not flip-flops. This is not Hajj or Umrah. So inshallah, just have comfortable shoes that you're going to be walking in. That you can pretty much walk for a good mile or two if you need to walk that much, but comfortable shoes. Binoculars are good, binoculars, just to, maybe you get to whale watch from the cruise, if you have binoculars, because sometimes in the distance you may see them. Especially in Seattle, as we leave the port there, sometimes they do have areas there where the whales are not too far away. So the binoculars are good, but again, use the binoculars Islamically. Inshallah, you know what I mean. Clothing, make sure you take clothing for a week. They don't have any laundromats on board. You won't be able to wash your clothes unless you want to use seawater. But you won't be able to get to the seawater unless you get offshore. So, but yeah, I mean, to take clothing, whatever you need. If you need to change every day, it's up to you. If every other day, whatever, or vary your clothing, and you can decide. But travel light. That's the idea. Travel light. Take enough luggage. Not like these guys. Take enough luggage that you can carry. You can carry yourself easily. Okay. So again, the whole idea is travel light. Okay, don't take your whole house with you.
They have laundry on the ship.
Yeah. So if
They do have laundry.
they have laundry, but you can't do your own laundry. So
you have to pay for it.
Give your clothes to them at 9 o'clock in the morning. They will return it next day. And if you want express service, so obviously the charges would be similar to the hotel services, but they do have laundry services.
Okay. So in other words, they don't have laundromats for you to do your own laundering or your own washing, but they have a service where you can give it to them and then they will do it for a certain fee.
And then they don't have irons over there.
No irons either, because they have the irons, they will iron it for you for a certain fee.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, it's a certain fee, not a certain free. Okay, certain fee. Okay, so in that sense, yes, they do. Okay. Domestic airlines charge for checked luggage. As you all know, this is a new practice. So again, the model of the story: travel light. Okay. To check your airline baggage and check the policy and so on, and pack accordingly. Okay. The ship cabins are usually much smaller than the hotel rooms, so again, travel light. Carry only what you need to carry. Okay, what to do the day before we travel? The checklist here is that first of all, the cruise check-in, which Amreen was talking about a little bit earlier, to check in online if you haven't done it yet, okay, and print your express pass. Okay, so has everybody checked in already? Everybody on the sister side is checked in. How about the
Very
brothers?
important that you check in because and you have to bring your express pass when you come at the here. When you come to the celebrity check-in time, they will look at that express pass.
The express pass for the airlines.
Yeah. No, not at the airline, at the celebrity pier. When you come there, you have to bring that express pass.
Yeah, but the express pass for the airlines.
Not the airline.
Oh, sorry, you're talking about the check. Okay, you're talking about the check-in for the cruise.
Yeah.
Okay, not the airlines
So
here.
you have to print that express pass.
Okay. So if you haven't printed it yet, make sure you print it ASAP, because they will check it, obviously, as you board the cruise. Print or use the ordered luggage tags from Celebrity. Has everybody printed out their luggage tag? Have everybody got that? If you haven't, then inshallah make sure you print it, go online.
Everybody might have ordered the luggage tags, right? Yeah.
So does everybody have the luggage tags already? Everybody?
Mailed to us.
Okay, so you have them. Abdul Qadir had them?
Yes.
You got them. And brother, you also have them. And so all the sisters have them also. Okay. Okay. Print or use the luggage tags. Okay. The airline check-in 24 hours ahead of time. I think most of us are traveling on Thursday, right? I think most of us are traveling on Thursday. So just 24 hours ahead of time, make sure you check in. So make sure you get your seat. Otherwise, your seats could change. So make sure that happens, and then sign up for the Captain's Club. Okay, what is the Captain's Club? The Captain's Club is on the cruise ship itself. That in the future, when you travel with Travelight, and going to different cruises, inshallah, you'll get some rewards points. You'll get discounts and things of this nature. So even if right now you're thinking, no, this is the first and the last cruise, don't make that decision right now, inshallah. Sign up with the Captain's Club and get your points, because you never know when you will need them and you'll get a discount and so on.
This is Captain's Club with Travelight or Celebrity?
No, with Celebrity. But I was just saying, when you travel with Travelight in the future, on one of the other cruises, inshallah, then you'll be able to use it, inshallah. Okay. Here is a brief map, a small map of where we're going. We're going to leave in Seattle, from Seattle, Washington, and then we're going to travel up the coast. And as you can see there, Vancouver, Victoria is very close to Seattle. We'll stop there on the last day, and that's in Canada. Okay, but otherwise the rest of it is considered in America. As part of Alaska. Here, the Ketchikan, as you can see, that's the first place we will stop. And then we'll go to this, we will pass by what's known as the fjord, the Tracy Arm Fjord, and inshallah we'll talk about that in just a second. Then we'll go to Juneau, and we'll go to Skagway, and then we'll take the sea route back, inshallah. Okay. Here's a day-by-day itinerary, and you have that in your in more detail in your package as well. But this is just to give you a general idea of what we will be doing. On the first day, as you can see, we'll be traveling from here and going to the hotels. I think most of us are going to the Hilton. But is there anybody who's not going to the Hilton? Anybody? Raise your hand. Huh? Which one are you going to? Sheraton? Okay.
I'm going to Portland. I'm going to drive from Portland to Seattle on that day.
Okay, you're going to drive from Portland to...
Oregon, yeah. Because I'm
Okay.
going like 6 days before.
Okay, how far is that from Portland to...
3.5 hours.
3.5 hours? So you're going to have to leave probably after Fajr.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, okay.
But we have to be there by noon, right?
You should be there by 10:30. 10:30, 11 o'clock, latest. 11, because that's when they'll start boarding. And we would like all of us to be there, so we go in as a group, inshallah. Huh?
How many of us are going Muslims, do you know?
We have about 19, right? 19 people. 19 people. And so we would like for all of you to be there by 11 at the latest. Like 11 at the door, so we'll wait for you there. We'll gather as a group, and then we'll try to go in as a group, inshallah. Okay, so we're all together. Okay, so those of us who are going to the Hilton, when we travel from here, Well, actually, when we go to the day by day, we'll mention it. But this is a general picture of the whole idea. The whole trip here. So let me move on here, and then we'll go through on a day by day thing. Okay. On the first day, as you're traveling, remember that you get to you arrive at the airport at least 2 to 3 hours ahead of time, whichever airport you're going through. I think most of us are going, the ones who are going from here, we're going to Dar-us, and we'll depart from Dar-us. So depending on when your flight is, try to show up 2 to 3 hours ahead of time. And inshallah, you should be okay, but just remember that, what the Supreme Court did just recently about the travel ban and all of that stuff. I know it shouldn't affect us, but you never know if, you're in for some special treatment. So just try to be there a little bit ahead of time so they don't delay your flight. They're not going to delay your flight. May delay you, and then you may end up missing your flight and things of that nature. So just to be on the cautious side there. Also, remember, brothers and sisters, that when it comes to Dhuhr and Asr, you'll probably have to do it at the airport, or you might be able to do it at the Dhuhr at home and then do Asr on the airport, or you can do it on the airplane as well, depending if they have a place, or you can sit down and do it, or if you get there before Maghrib. I think Maghrib you can check online, but Maghrib in Seattle I think is about 9ish or 9:30, something of that nature. So I think most of us are probably going to get there before then. So you will be able to do Asr there as well. And again, when you're traveling, Dhuhr and Asr, you can combine them and you can shorten them, 2 and 2, if you'd like. But if you are following, in one of the madhabs, the Hanafi madhab, some of the scholars, they say that you should keep them separate still. You can shorten, but keep them separate. So if you're following the Hanafi madhab, then you're welcome to do that, to pray the Asr either on board or when you get there. But just make sure that you get there in the proper amount of time. Okay. When you arrive, as you're leaving from here, remember the dua that Rasulullah recommended that we should say as we're leaving, as we're bidding farewell to our relatives and friends and so on. That I am bidding farewell to you and leaving Allah in charge of all your affairs, and whatever is put in His charge is never lost. It is never wasted in any way. So it's a dua that Rasulullah would make, and make sure you make that dua. Also, there are other duas that make sure you make your dua, because remember, this journey is all about conversations with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So dua is going to be a big part of this journey. Grab in the past, those of you who have traveled with us, we've given you this book called Hisn al-Muslim. It has the fortress of the believer. And there is a dua that you say as you begin the travel. When you ride the airplane, or when you ride your car, even when you get into your car, there's a dua that you say. So Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, Subhanalladhi sakhara lana hada wa ma kunna lahu muqrinin wa inna ila rabbina lamunqalibun. Which is, in the name of Allah I start this journey. Okay, very critical. Okay, because that kind of puts everything in perspective. As I said, normally when people think of vacation, they think about getting away from Allah. For us as Muslims, we're going to Allah. Inni dhahibun ila rabbi. I'm going to my Lord. So it's a total different focus. So that's why we start out the dua by saying Bismillah walhamdulillah, in the name of Allah. I seek Allah's help in having a successful journey. I'm invoking Allah's name to help me to have a very successful and a positive journey and a very prosperous journey in this journey. Walhamdulillah, and all praise and thanks be to Allah. Subhanalladhi sakhara lana hada Praise and thanks and glory to Allah for providing me this means of transportation. Subhanallah sakhara lana hada wa ma kunna lahu muqrinin, and we are incapable of doing this and coming up with this by ourselves. Wa inna ila rabbina lamunqalibun, and surely in the end we are all turning back to Allah. In the final analysis, we are all going back to Allah. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. All praise and thanks be to Allah. All praise and thanks be to Allah. All praise and thanks be to Allah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allah is the greatest, Allah is the greatest, Allah is the greatest. And really, these two phrases is the modus operandi for all Muslims. Because we live between these two phrases. If you think about it, Alhamdulillah and Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah, we always are constantly saying, or supposed to be saying Alhamdulillah, because of all the things Allah has given us. Everything Allah has given us. Money, careers, family, the ability to see, the ability to hear, the ability to walk and think, and the blessing of being a Muslim, the blessing of having the Quran, the blessing of having the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, having a stellar, paragon of virtue as our example, ﷺ. All these blessings. So we constantly say Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. And as we're getting on this ship, Allah, thank you so much for providing this means of transportation. I mean, be in this frame of mind. You're conversing with Allah. You're talking to Allah. Okay, because that's what this journey is all about. Okay, thank you for providing this means of transportation, so I can draw closer to you, Ya Allah, so I can observe the beauty that you have created, and I can imagine that how beautiful Jannah will be, and so on. So think about this as you're going. Again, I'm not saying that that just becomes so mean and frowning and serious. Enjoy, but if I may, spell the word enjoy in a different way. Spell it with an I instead of an E. Okay? So in other words, you're in joy. Okay? The joy of being with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? So you're talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that subhanallah wa bihamdi, that all praise and glory be to Allah. And you're praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and at the same time you're saying Allah is the greatest, Allah is the greatest, Allah is the greatest. Because really that is the priority in our life. That we do everything for Allah. Why? Because Allah is the greatest. Allah is top priority, not us. We live God-centered lives, not self-centered lives. That's the whole idea. Okay? We live Allah-centered lives, not self-centered lives. Okay? So it is how Allah views us. It's not how I view me. It is how do I view myself under the gaze of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, under the watch of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the more critical thing here. Okay? How do I appear in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When Allah is watching me, what is He watching in me? Is He watching my body? Is He watching how beautiful I look or how handsome I am? Or is He looking at the beauty of my heart? Is He looking at the richness of my deeds? What is Allah looking at? These are the things that we need to be cognizant of and reflective of, inshallah. So you're making this dua, then as you get on board, you say, as the plane is taking off, as you're riding as you board, you say Subhanaka Allahumma inni dhalamtu nafsi, that glory be to Allah, and I have really wronged myself over all these years, and faghfirli innahu la yaghfiru dhunuba illa ant, forgive me, O Allah, because there is no one who forgives except you. And again, you would ask the question, okay, why am I asking for forgiveness? I'm going on vacation for God's sake. Why am I asking for forgiveness? But then ask yourself the same thing. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? He was forgiven for everything. He didn't commit sins, right? But yet he's asking for forgiveness at least 70 to 100 times a day, right? Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was to say istighfar, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, at least 70 to 100 times a day, and he had no sin. So what's the purpose of that? The purpose of that, brothers and sisters, is to humble ourselves, to understand that I am just a servant of Allah. And I'm so vulnerable that I can commit a wrong deed in the blink of an eye and won't even know it. And won't even know it. So just to constantly seek forgiveness, to humble myself, that I'm not arrogant. That have nothing to do with an ego, you know? And that's the whole idea of asking for istighfar all the time and doing it constantly. Okay? So, and then as you board, as the plane begins to move, you say, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah is the greatest, Allah is the greatest, Allah is the greatest. And think about it as you're saying this. So then, سبحان الذي سخر لنا هذا وما كنا له مقرنين وإنا إلى ربنا لمنقلبون. Again, the same dua. And then you say, Allahumma inna nas'aluka fi safarina hadha al-birra wa taqwa wa min al-amali ma tarda. Oh Allah, I ask you in this journey all righteousness and taqwa, staying away from anything that is bad. I ask, I ask for all the goodness and so on. And then you can read the dua, inshallah, and we will repeat it as well as we are together. But it's very important. It kind of puts everything in perspective as you are traveling, inshallah. That this journey is for Allah, and Allah will protect you, and Allah will be watching over you, and so on. Zuhr and Asr we talked about. Now you arrive in Seattle, and again in that book there's a dua that you say as you're landing. You know that, oh Allah, I ask you for the goodness of this city that I'm landing in. I ask you for the goodness of the people, and oh Allah, I ask your protection from the evil of the city and the evil of the people in it, and so on. These days, as you know, especially as Muslims traveling, that's a big dua. That's a big dua. Again, remember, you're conversating with Allah, you're conversing with Allah, you're talking to Allah. All throughout the trip. You're talking to Allah. You're talking to Allah. Okay, and then as you check into the, inshallah, we will, once you're in Seattle, you will go to your hotel. Now, you can, the dinner options that are there as you check into your hotel, you can either eat at the airport if you'd like, or you can, if you come to the hotel, especially if you come to the Hilton, because initially we thought most people are going to be coming to the Hilton, or everybody was coming to the Hilton, so we checked out the different places for dinner in that area. And within, I would say, probably 500 yards, there are a lot of eating places, different cuisines, from Thai to Indian to American to Japanese to Greek. We saw there are many different restaurants that are there that we could probably go to if you would like. Or you could eat at the airport itself, inshallah. The second day, okay, that was day one. The second day, the basic idea is that after you pray Fajr, we weren't able to get a room where all of us can get together, and we're still trying, but you may have to pray in your room. Then, inshallah, you have breakfast at the hotel. And the key thing here on Friday, on Jumu'ah, is that you are downstairs by 10:15 at the latest, because the buses will come at 10:30, and we need to be on board and gone, to the pier. Okay. Also, the important thing here is that your luggage tags for the cruise that you're going to print out, put them on now at this point. Don't put it on when you depart from here. Okay, because otherwise, at the airport or in security, the TSA and so on, who knows, they might take off those tags or so on. But the cruise tags, you want to put them on at this point, on the morning of the cruise, on the morning of boarding the cruise, on Friday morning. Okay, very critical issue, inshallah. That make sure that the luggage tags are on each piece of luggage. Okay, and I'm hoping that each is singular. Okay. Each one of us has one piece of luggage, inshallah. Travelight. Okay. We're going to leave for the cruise terminal Pier 91 at 10:30 a.m. via shuttle. This is from Hilton, and it's going to cost $7 per person. Okay. So if we're all down in, if we're going from Hilton, if you're going from another hotel, then you just have to make arrangements. But make sure that you're there, because I think the doors at Pier 91, they open by 11. So we want to make sure if we're there by 10, between 10:45 and 11, we're all there and we're all together, and we go in as a group, inshallah. Now, those of us who are going to be at the Hilton, if we can all come down by 10 o'clock and then everybody gives their $7 and we can just give all the money at the same time for, like if we have 7 people, 10 people, 12 people, whatever, we can give the driver the money for that many people.
So are we going to have to carry some amount of cash on this trip with all these different expenses, or?
Yeah.
You should assume that every place where we have to spend money, they accept credit cards.
Yeah, I'm sure that, it's America, so they're going to have credit cards. I'm sure, but like various expenses like buses, they probably, I don't know if they're going to have credit cards.
So for the transfer, for the shuttle, they will charge $7 cash from the hotel to the pier. So the driver will take cash $7.
$7 cash.
Yeah.
$7, right? Not euros.
No.
Dollars.
$7 cash. And also from the airport to the hotel, when we arrive at the airport to the hotel, it will be like $10 cash. And then they will take credit card, but then it will be extra $3. So we will recommend that everybody carry cash, like change, so that we can give it to these shuttle drivers.
Probably, because even in the various places, the shore excursions, and when you get off in Juneau and Skagway and Ketchikan, you may want to purchase some novelties or different things, for relatives, friends, whatever. So you may want to have $500 to $1,000 with you, or
cash, walk around with $500,000 cash.
If you don't have credit cards, but if you have credit cards, then fine. But otherwise you should have some cash, for various little expenses of this nature. Okay. Pier 91 is the pier that we are going to be. That's the dock, right? That's where we're going to be getting onto the ship. Pier 91, very important, huh? Pier 91. If you don't remember the number, and if you do get lost, then it's a Celebrity Cruise pier. Okay, the Celebrity Cruise pier. Okay, Pier 91. Okay, very important. If you think you may not remember, then write it down somewhere. Okay. As we get into the line of getting on board, and it's just like those of you who haven't done cruises before, what it is that it's like the airport. You go to these different kiosks, you go to the different counters, and then they will check your information, and then they will issue you a sea pass. Okay, and that's the next point here, that you will receive a sea pass. That sea pass has your passport information on it and your credit card information on it. Okay, so and this will be your ID on the ship. This will be your ID on the ship. They will have this handy at all times. Okay, make sure you have it in your purse or pocket, wherever you place your IDs. When you exit the ship and when you come on board, they will ask you for the sea pass, as your ID. Remember when you get off on the shore excursions, you get off in Juneau or Ketchikan or wherever. You're gonna put this ID in as you leave, and as you come in, you're gonna put your ID in as you get back on board. Okay, so you definitely keep the sea pass is very, very important. Okay, then you get on board, you board the ship, you clear security and so on, and you get on board, and the last point here on the left there, the muster drill. This drill is a safety drill. Just like in airplanes, when just before you travel, the air hostess they come and they show you where the fire exits are and emergencies and things of that nature. they will show you. They will go through a drill, and they will actually announce it on board. Once everybody's on board, the ship actually departs at 4 o'clock, and everybody, I think maybe 2,000-3,000 people that are going to be boarding this ship. Okay, and so between 2 and 4, they're going to be making announcements over the PA and asking you to come on a certain deck, and they will introduce you to all the safety procedures. It's critical that you come. They will actually, in some of these ships, and I think on Celebrity also, if they don't see you, they will come and get you from your room. Okay? So they have enough personality. I mean, don't think just because they have 3,000 people that, oh, they're not going to miss me. Yeah, they know. And they will pull you. So make sure you're there when they have the safety procedures they go through. And it's important. It's critical for all of us to know about that. The Dhuhr and Asr on that day, inshallah, we have a meeting set up that at 5 or at about 5 o'clock, we have a special meeting room. Inshallah, we'll talk about that in just a second, where we will meet often as our group. And of course, it's not mandatory. We recommend that you come, just to kind of catch up on any updates or the salah and to pray together and various little talks and so on. But it's not, it's not fard, it's not it's not obligatory that you come. It's up to you, but we recommend that you do come, inshallah, to be with the entire jama'ah, to be with the entire group. So the Dhuhr and Asr on that day, the day that you board, you can either pray in your cabin, in your room, if you would like, or you can join us at about 5 o'clock. We will give you the exact time, inshallah, and then we'll pray Dhuhr and Asr together as a jama'ah, together. And that's where the meeting part comes. And then the dinner starts roughly, I think at about 6 o'clock, and it goes till 9. So we'll explain about that in just a second, a little bit more. And then in the evening, we'll come back to the same room at 9:30, and we'll pray Maghrib and Isha together. Okay? 3 for Maghrib and then 2 for Isha. Okay? Maghrib generally comes in after 9:15 or 9:20, and times at 9:30 as well. So again, we're not forcing anybody, but we highly recommend that, inshallah, come and join the jama'ah and brothers and sisters, and because inshallah we really want to develop that bond between all of us for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Day 3. But by the way, feel free to get up and get refreshments or drinks or things to eat and stuff. Okay. On the 3rd day, Saturday, this will be at sea basically, and there are breakfast options. You can get room service for free. If you don't feel like coming out of your room, there's a buffet on deck 14. Okay, they have elevators that you can take elevators, from the deck that you're on. If you wanna, I think they have stairs as well if you wanna use that as an exercise time. But the buffet is on deck 14. And those of you who have the Aqua package, you can go to this restaurant called the Blue Restaurant. Okay, and they have food there for you as well.
But Safi, about the buffet and these different places to eat on the ship, it's my understanding that these places are only open at certain times, so they're not like at meal times, then they're accessible. Otherwise, outside of meal times, they're not accessible to go to eat.
Yeah, right.
So deck 14, they open breakfast time. So actually,
the breakfast time is what, 7 to 9, is it, or 7 to 10?
10:30. So
yeah, 7 a.m. to 10:30.
So much that the lunch time pretty much starts like 12:30. So people are still eating breakfast and the lunch time. So pretty much technically it is open all the time. And so deck 14 is the buffet deck where the, breakfast, lunch and dinner. So you have the option to go on deck 14 and have lunch, breakfast, lunch and dinner. But your, so every...
I think lunch is like 12:30 to 3,
yeah,
right?
3.
And then the dinner is 6 to 9?
So our dinner for our group is Celebrity Select, where we have the option to pretty much go anytime. So they have like 6:30, 8:30 time in, and then we decide what time we go for that for that day, right? So we are not tied to a particular time that whether we go 6:30, but we have to every day tell them, okay, this is the time that we have to go. So whenever we are here.
And that's the formal dinner in their restaurant,
Right.
official dinner. Where
Right.
you sit down and they serve you. I
Exactly.
mean, that's part of everybody's package.
So yeah, it's part of everybody's package, and but then you also have an option to go on deck 14 if you don't want to sit in the formal dining room. Then you have an option to again go on deck 14 and have the buffet. And the formal dining room, that's the photo that you are looking at, the formal dining room. And formal dining room, it's called the main dining room, it's on deck 3 and deck 4. So deck 3 and deck 4 has the main dining room for everyone. But for the aqua class people, the blue restaurant is the dining room for them, the aqua class people. So So the aqua class people, they have the option to go on the main dining room, they have the option to go on the deck 14 as well as the blue restaurant. And again, everybody has the option to go on the specialty restaurant, but you have to make a reservation for that, and then you have to pay for that. So pretty much, you don't have to go there, but if people want to taste different food and all that. But main dining room is the dining room that you want to go, and they are on deck 3 and deck 4. But when we are on board, they will let us know that which deck that you have to go. So either it would be deck 3 and 4. So this main dining room is the same dining room, but they will which goes between deck 3 and 4. It's the same dining room.
Okay. Okay, and did you want to say anything about the halal stuff?
Yeah. So for our group, we have ordered halal meals. So breakfast pretty much is so much variety for halal meals. So breakfast is okay because there's so much variety. It's a buffet breakfast. But for the other meals, we at least one entree is halal. So the meat is halal, and you have an option again because there's so much variety. There's seafood, vegetables, and all that. So if you think, okay, but again, one meat is going to be halal. It has to be poultry or red meat, but there will be an option of halal meat for our group, and so they will serve halal meat. But again, if you think, okay, this halal meat, I don't like it, then you can always tell them, okay, I want something else. And with other cruise ships, because the experience is really good on the cruise ship. If you have never been on a cruise ship, they are very, very good people on there. So if you think, and I know for the fact on the other cruise ships, if you think they are serving you food and you think that, okay, on the menu they'll give you the menu and you say, I like this menu or this thing on the menu, but I'm not sure I like that thing also. So they will tell you, okay, do you like that too? Do you want us to bring that also for you? And it would be an entree, they will bring it for you. So they will bring 2 entrees for you, you just have to ask them. So that's how they are over there.
Usually on the cruises, brothers and sisters, one thing that is very prevalent is that they have so much food.
Yeah.
So much food. You've never seen food like this before. There's so many varieties that you're literally, I'm not exaggerating. You get confused. Okay, I want a little of this, I want a little of that, I want a little of this, I want a little of that, I want a little. By the time just taking a little of it, and you say, wait a minute, still half of the stuff is remaining. I didn't even get to it. You know? So they have a lot of food.
And one sister is vegetarian, so we have vegetarian.
She's also vegetarian.
Oh,
Yeah, they have so much variety that you would literally be
They
confused.
always have vegetarian.
Okay.
They always have one vegetarian.
And this is one of the minor signs of the Day of Judgment. I don't know that Rasulullah said that one of the minor signs of the Day of Judgment is that you will come to a place and see that there will be the food, and there will be this huge variety of food that you'll literally get confused. Okay. So those are breakfast options. On that day, on the third day, Saturday, we'll have a seminar at 10 o'clock. Inshallah, we'll start. And the seminars will roughly be 45 minutes to an hour, although we put here 10 to 12. The idea, this should be 11. I think we had to change it to 11 to 1. So, it would be, the seminar will be like 11 to 12, and then from 12 to 1, the idea was to have some type of a group activity or a question and answer, or just general talking among ourselves. That we just talk, I saw this, and I saw this, and I saw that, and did you see this, and did you see that? Oh, you should go there, or you should go here. To talk among ourselves, inshallah, and to get to know each other and so on, okay? So the idea here was that not to just overload this with a lot of talks and so on, but to have this as reminders, inshallah, and the various prayers as well, to just keep things in perspective. The idea is not to the idea was not for all of us to be going to university setting and so on, because I understand that people are coming from all different backgrounds and so on. So. But that element is there as far as learning and so on, and drawing closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then right after that we'll pray and we'll go for lunch. You want to say something?
Yeah, that will be on deck 14, the seminar on deck 14, they are in your folders, deck 14, there is this map of
the buffet deck. Right? The buffet deck, that's where the seminars are.
Yeah.
The food deck.
Say we'll eat while we listen to something?
No, that usually doesn't work. Eat while you listen. Then we have lunch. We'll make salah. Salah comes in at about 12:50. Dhuhr, we can make Dhuhr and Asr together, and then go for lunch. Lunch is usually up to 3 o'clock. And we'll pray Dhuhr between 1 and 1:30, and then we'll go for lunch. And then again, the rest of the day is free till Maghrib and Isha. It's for you to enjoy the services, be with your loved ones, and go sightseeing. On the top deck, you can if you want to exercise, you can walk. There's pools. But obviously you keep your Islamic guidelines. Obviously, you can't go to the pool at certain times of the day, or night, and so on. Remember, brothers and sisters, this is not a Muslim ship. So you're going to encounter the same things that you encounter when you go to a hotel, when you go to a public gathering where there are non-Muslims. In general, one of the reasons we picked this ship in particular was that you generally have the more mature crowd. You don't have the rabble-rousers, the hillbilly type crowds, that are very noisy and very, generally you have the mature, laid-back, more respectful crowd, and so on. And as part of the non-Muslim scene that people have music, people do dance, there may be a dance floor there. Quite a few of the cruises, they have dance floors, and at the pool, people are not going to be dressed in hijab, you know that already. So again, I mean, understand this is, we're going to be there with non-Muslims, so just, carry yourselves accordingly, and so on. So again, you go and watch the scenery. You can do laps. I think on the top deck, which is a scenic deck, I think they have a track also that you can, and you'll see people jogging, and you can walk. Get your walk in for that day. As you know, from a health standpoint, it's good to walk at least half an hour a day, so you can get in your health, your physical part in, because. Remember Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, what did he say? Al-mu'min al-qawi khayrun wa ahabbu ila Allah min al-da'if wa fi kullin khayr. That a strong believer is better than a weak believer, and more beloved to Allah than a weak believer. And each one of them there is goodness. Okay? So that's, and then at the end of the day, you're welcome to join us for Maghrib and Isha. And inshallah we'll be there. And again, it's not mandatory, but we would really recommend that you come and let's keep the family going, inshallah. The next day, Sunday, starts with Fajr at 3:30. We have reserved the room, on deck 14. And again, we encourage you to come and join us for Fajr, which, by the way, going back to day 3, means that we should go to sleep right after Isha. And so we can get up for Fajr, okay, the next day. You're talking about hardly a 5-hour break, okay? So you want to get your rest, inshallah. Then at 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., that day we'll stop at this city known as Ketchikan. Ketchikan is a very old city, and actually it is known as the salmon capital of the world, because its economy basically is based on commercial fishing, and there's a lot of government services there, and so on and so forth. So it's hardly, the population there is hardly 14,000 in this city, and it was known as a city where a lot of the your people who used to do shipping, they would stop at in this city for the last 200 years, 100 years. It was actually incorporated in the 1900s, early 1900s. So you'll get a chance from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. You're welcome to have breakfast first, and then you'll get your free breakfast on the ship, and then you can go on shore. And you have your shore excursions as well. Okay. And for Dhuhr and Asr, again, we put after you come back at 4 p.m. We put it there. Or if you feel that you want to pray, about 12 o'clock, about 1 o'clock, while you're in Ketchikan on land, you're welcome to do that as well. But we put it there as 5 or 6. That if you haven't prayed, then inshallah we'll pray on board. Dinner after that is 6 o'clock, and. Again, we enjoy the cruise and the various services, and then all the rest is free time for you. And Maghrib and Isha again at 9:30 to 10:30. This is on Sunday, okay? And we put it as Ketchikan. And actually, believe it or not, they don't even know what this name means. It comes from some of the Indian tribes who used to be there. And one of the prime things that you will see in Ketchikan is these totem poles. The Indians, they used to develop this, and this is known as the totem pole capital of the world. The Ketchikan. And these are huge poles, and they have all these images on them and so on. They're kind of like idols, basically. There. And it's no surprise that this is one of the areas where this city itself has a lot of satanic worshippers. The city in itself, Ketchikan. So, of course, for us, it's a simple solution. We say it all the time, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Day 5, on Monday, in the morning, after we pray Fajr, at roughly between 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., everybody's encouraged to come out on deck, because we'll be going through this, the Tracy Arm Fjord. And these are like huge mountains, they're waterways that go in, and it's just a very majestic view that you will get. This is the time, if you're taking cameras with you, this is the time where your camera should be just, click, 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 click. This continuously, or you're taking a video and so on. These are like beautiful sceneries. You may see waterfalls, you'll see snow-capped mountains, you'll see animals, you'll see, if we hit it at the right time, you'll see all of these things. But just the scenery itself is one of the wonders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that just uncharted wilderness that you will see. It's just something to behold, and you'll never forget. It's just amazing stuff. And again, you're just beside yourself. You have to say Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah wa bihamdi, Subhanallah wa bihamdi. If Allah has created this, I'm nothing. That's the idea, to be able to say this to yourself. And look at this beauty. Look at this amazing creation. And this is how this whole world used to be before mankind kind of spoiled it. And how is it going to be in Jannah? As you behold these beautiful views, just think about it. That how beautiful this is, and then think about the Creator who created this creation, and how beautiful the Creator Himself is. Go to that level and think about the time when in Jannah, the biggest reward in Jannah is that you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That you actually see Him. So as you view the beauty here, imagine the beauty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you'll get this chance, to come on board outside of your cabins. Don't sleep it away. Don't sleep it away. So this is one of the reasons why on this trip to really, take in this beauty. And this is one of the prime times to draw closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You start out with Fajr. Now you've had some of your soul food, and now you're going to get a little bit more soul food by viewing, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you these eyes, to view the physical beauty. Use the eyes of the heart to imagine the beauty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the lunch, that'll take us to 10 a.m. And again, if you want to catch up on your sleep afterwards, you can. Lunch is, again, it will start at 12:30, but inshallah we hope to meet by 1 o'clock and pray Dhuhr and Asr together. And by that time we would have gotten to the capital of Alaska, which is known as Juneau. And actually this is named after a man who claims to have founded, actually established roots there. His name is Joe Juneau. And in the late 1800s and so on. Actually, his cousin is the one who inaugurated Milwaukee, Wisconsin. His name was also Juneau. Clyde or something like that. Clyde or Clinton Juneau, something like that. So we will disembark. We'll come off the ship at about 1:30. Again, it's up to you if you want to eat lunch first and then get off, or you want to have lunch in town. There are various excursions in Juneau, we'll mention them in just a second, and you have all the way till 10 o'clock. When you come back on board, we'll make salah. We put 9:30 there, kind of to basically encourage you to come back before 10 o'clock. And just remember the most important thing on this trip is the salah. The most important thing, more important than the views and so on. Because through the salah, you're going to thank Allah for enabling you to come. Okay? So the salah, inshallah, run your schedule around the salah. Okay? Not the salah around your schedule. Okay? Run your schedule according to or around the salah. So try to be there by 9:30 in our conference room, inshallah, on deck 14. On the 6th day, Tuesday, we will come to Skagway. It's another city. We'll start the day off with Fajr, and then inshallah we by 7 a.m. we would have arrived, and we have the whole day to spend in Skagway. And again, we put the salah time again at 5:30 to kind of encourage you to come back for the salah so we can pray Dhuhr and Asr together. And again, if you feel that you want to pray while you're in Juneau, I've tried to locate the various Islamic centers in the area. So far, I haven't found anything. Most of your Islamic centers are in Anchorage, but I'm thinking there has to be something in Juneau, the capital. But I haven't located any. I've Googled quite a bit. But inshallah, I'm hoping that they'll have some yellow pages. I know they don't use them anymore, and some white pages or something, and I'll be able to go through like I normally do in every city. So where are the Muslim names, or call up some Muslims in the area, and try to find out. So if you happen to come across something, let me know, inshallah. Then who knows if there's some masjid in Skagway or in Juneau, we can go pray there, and instead of on board. But if you didn't pray between the hours of 7 a.m. and 6 p.m., then inshallah we'll pray when we meet each other at 5:30. Then 6 o'clock is dinner. Some of you may have grabbed dinner in the city. Then inshallah in the evening, again there's a very scenic view as well. And this will be the inside passages we'll be going through. And again, it's just amazing scenery that you really want to behold, and you really want to just be in tears and just saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, Ya Allah, thank you so much for having me experience this, while I was in this world, and thank you so much, because so many people have no clue about all of this. And that'll be from 6:30 to 10:30. Most people will be on deck. Then, inshallah, roughly at 9:30, we'll all meet to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and pray together in Maghrib and Isha. Then go to bed as soon as possible. And then Fajr, inshallah, is at the next day on Wednesday. We'll be at sea most of the day. We'll start off the day with Fajr at 3:30. Then we'll have a seminar on that day from 10 to, again, the same deal. It won't be at 10, by the way. This is 11. The timings here have to be adjusted. So it'll be 11 to 1. And basically the seminar will be, we're not going to make it so heavy on everybody, so we'll have it 11 to 12, and then from 12 to 1 we'll talk to each other and, whatever we learn in our reflections and inspiration and so on. It's important that we share that with each other, brothers and sisters, because really Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may have inspired you with something, and you talk about it and it'll inspire the rest of us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala places the wisdom in different people at different times. So don't be afraid, inshallah. No inspiration is a dumb inspiration. Even if it's something so simple as, I saw the whale jumping out of the water. The rest of us should not be looking at that person. What? Are you serious? That's condescending. I mean, that's a beautiful experience for somebody, but it may inspire somebody else. So no experience is a dumb experience. Be at ease to share your experiences, inshallah. And that'll be Zuhr and Asr. We'll pray, inshallah. Then we'll have lunch. And again, the rest of the day, enjoy the cruise, and then we'll meet back at Maghrib and Isha, thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for letting us experience what He let us experience, and giving us the safety and the security to enjoy all of this and be enjoyed. Thursday, the day before we finish, we'll start off the day again with Fajr before breakfast. In other words, food for the soul first, and then food for the body. And again, 11 to 1 will be the seminar, and the same deal. So basically, there are 3 days that we'll be meeting: Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday. For the seminars. And then we'll pray Dhuhr and Asr. Then we'll go for lunch. By 1:30 we should go for lunch. And then the rest of the time we enjoy the cruise, go on different decks and the services and the shops and whatever. And by 5:30 we would have arrived in Canada, in Victoria, on the way back. we would have arrived in Victoria, Canada, and we will disembark from 5:30 to roughly 12 o'clock. We will be in Victoria, inshallah, and there's world famous gardens that are there that have a lot of flowers from all over the world and so on. And it's a beautiful sight to see. Then inshallah, again, we have delayed the salah a little bit to 10:30, and we'll pray Maghrib and Isha at 10:30, inshallah. Then the next day, Friday, we would start the day with Fajr at 3:30 and 4:30, and especially on this day, brothers and sisters, it's critical that you show up on time at 3:30. Okay, and we'll pray quickly. 3:40 maybe on that day, especially we'll try to be right on time, because 6 o'clock we're supposed to get off the ship, and they will start making preparations, making announcements to have everybody get ready probably by 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 4:30. They will try, start making announcements, and you have to be in your room packing and all those different things, because by 6 o'clock we're supposed to disembark. Okay, we're in Seattle. We'll be back in Seattle, Washington, in America. And once we get off, it'll probably take us roughly an hour and a half to get out, maybe quicker to get out. And then we're supposed to head to the airport. All of us have flights coming back to DC. So, and again, the same deal, arrive a little bit early to the airport, 2 to 3 hours, and get through the security and all of that stuff. Some other key points to remember. The ship's onboard services, here's a sample of them. They have a spa and salon, you have to make reservations. They have a barber shop, and they have this thing called glass blowing demos. Basically you have to go early to be seated, and this is shaping the different glass in different ways and so on. There is a lawn deck. And you know more about this, the lawn deck? I don't know.
The ship has a lawn, so like if people want to sit on the lawn,
Oh, it's not AstroTurf?
yeah, it's like.
It is AstroTurf? Or is it like an actual lawn?
Yeah, it has an actual lawn.
Actual lawn, okay. So if you're missing the land,
There is a piece of it.
there's a piece of it there. Okay, so you can go and sit on the land. Library, if you're missing books.
It's a quiet place if people feel that other places are very noisy or something. It's a
Right.
place that you can sit and read.
Room service for breakfast. If you feel like you don't want to eat Brother Safi at the buffet, so you're free to have free room service. Observation lounge, that's upstairs, right? The observation, observe what's the beauty outside. Shopping on the cruise. Is this one for the brothers or the sisters? The shopping.
I think brothers are free to accompany the sisters.
Okay. I think the brothers are going to be ordering room service while the sisters go shopping. So, okay.
Typical, whoever is accompanying the sister, they go with the sisters.
Okay. And then there are other restaurants also that we're free to go to?
Yeah, but
You have to make reservations, specialty.
Reservations, okay.
And they charge.
Okay. So they will charge a certain fee.
But I've printed out some of and you can always go online on the celebritycruises.com,
Okay.
and you will, if you go on the solstice ship, and you can see all the decks of this ship.
Yeah, there's a map inside your folder. Right?
Yeah, and I printed them, and you can also go online and see the same deck. I really recommend that all of you go and if you don't have time, then at least look at these maps and kind of go through these maps, because it's really important that you kind of
Become familiar.
familiarize yourself with these maps.
Right.
And especially your rooms, so that you know, kind of have an idea which deck your rooms are. Do you guys know which deck your rooms are? Do you know? Do you know?
Is one of the deads.
This is a quiz. This is a quiz for you. If you guys did your check online, you should know which deck your rooms are.
Do they have a deck 13?
Okay.
They have a deck 13?
It's 8th grade. Yeah, then, Mahmuda got 8th grade.
Okay. Okay, so the meal venues, basically the food deck, the main buffet deck is 14, and then they have the other restaurants on the 4th and the 5th deck.
It's actually per.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah, for the aqua people, the ones who have the aqua package, it's on the 4th and the 5th deck.
Aqua is, I'll let you know,
Okay.
where the aqua is. Aqua is
Um,
not on
Okay, the cabins, they don't have irons. They don't have irons. Okay. Now, are you allowed to take your own iron if you want to?
No, you are not
It's a
allowed.
fire hazard.
You're not. Oh, it's a fire hazard. Okay, right. You're not allowed to take your own irons. Okay. There are no laundromats on the ship, but you can get yourself laundered for a fee. The seminars and the prayers will be held on deck 14 in the Sky Conference Room. Okay, the Sky Conference Room. Okay.
And all the salah are also on
The same
deck
one.
14.
Yeah.
So
Deck
every day
14.
salah, we have dedicated room for the salah
Yeah.
on deck 14.
And by the way, when we asked them, they're very accommodating. Very accommodating.
Yeah.
They were actually following up with us, on this. So they're very nice about this.
Yeah, very nice.
So again, really, it's just that we're so grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put it in their hearts to be so nice to us because we were asking for salah. And subhanAllah, Allah made it so easy. The Sky Conference Room. Know your free perks, right? So what are some of the free perks?
So the folks that are in the veranda rooms, they have perks, and they've already had their perks assigned. So they are aware of their perks.
Everybody's aware of their perks? Okay. There will be photographers who will sell pictures of you to you. So, but don't be forced to buy those photographs because you're probably photographing yourselves. But they'll probably try to catch you in various situations. But again, it's not something we encourage. But we just want you to know that this might be happening. If you do see people trying to photograph you, do tell them no, you don't want photographs to be taken and so on. The location of the internet lounge, that's on deck 14. The internet lounge. There is an internet lounge. So if you want to check your emails, if you're not getting the Wi-Fi, I guess. Yeah.
You have to pay for it?
Do you have to pay for the internet lounge?
If you have a package.
Actually, internet lounge is pretty much like the Apple folks. They are taking care, so they have this Apple products and all that, and you can check your email. But I'm pretty sure that you have to pay for that.
You have to pay for it?
Checking your emails and all.
Okay. Yeah, she's saying you have to pay for it. Okay. Important.
The lawn is, the patio on the lawn is on deck 15. The hot glass show is also on, and what I've heard that a hot glass show is really good. I don't know anything about it, but what we've heard that it's really good. But again, you have to go early for that whenever the show is, and it's on deck 15.
By the way, just a FYI, from what I read is that this glass blowing show is they've shaped the glasses in various different ways and so on. Like how we have glasses and various things that that are shaped from glass. Just FYI, the Muslims in Spain, in Andalus, they are the first ones who developed this entire technology. They used to do this at that time, and more than 1,000 years back, you can say. So this is coming, directly from the Muslims. So okay, other things to know on the ship. Other important things to know. The cabins cannot be changed. Once you have your room, your cabin, you cannot change them. Okay, that's what it is, inshallah.
So can I go through the cabins, decks of everyone? So Brother Abdul Qadir's deck is deck 10.
I don't see the room. I was about to ask you.
He doesn't know what room number.
I know what room it is, but the room doesn't exist on that
room
map.
number is 1156. 1156, and it's inside room, and it's forward. It's the forward of the ship.
10. So it's deck 10.
Deck 10.
1156. Abdul Qadir and Sister Atifa, right?
That's,
Deck 10.
so
Deck 10.
this number I have, the thing I have on my paperwork, it tells me another cabin number. That's not correct?
He has another cabin number on his folder.
What does it say?
What does it say?
1049.
1049.
1049?
That's what it says. That's what's printed here.
Okay. So,
But I don't see it on the map.
Okay, so then, okay.
So 1156 might be right, but I don't have that.
Okay, I have to look into it. But it's deck.
Okay, can we do that at the end? Just go through each specific deck and room number. Let's just finish. This is almost finished, huh? And then we'll go through the room assignments. Okay. So all shore excursions should be bought before the 4th of July. Okay? So in other words, today is the 1st, right? Today is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, but before Tuesday. Huh? Before Tuesday. Okay, so the Celebrity Cruise will deduct $92 per person approximately for gratuities from your C-Pass credit card. Okay? That's something that they do. Okay, automatically, yeah. So, for the service that they will provide you and different things that they will bring to you and so on and so forth. If there are any additional charges which you charge, it will come off of, they'll ask you for your C-Pass and they will charge your credit card. But that's things that you would want extra. Okay, plan to bring $27 to $30 per person cash for airport and cruise terminal transfers. I get, that's for the busing and taxis or whatever you take, inshallah. Then you purchase the beverage package. You can get it online, inshallah, on the Celebrity Cruise website before you travel. Okay. Types of beverage packages. These are some of the different types of packages that there are. The premium non-alcoholic package. This includes the sodas, the juices, the smoothies, etc. It's $22 per person per day. So in 7 days, you're talking about $154. Classic non-alcoholic package. It was different than the premium. So I guess you don't get the juices, but you get the sodas, the tea, the coffee. $18 per person per day. So that That comes out to $126. $126 per person for the week. Then you have the water package. It includes Evian water, $16 per person per day, and that comes out to $112 for the week. Okay, the good news, on-board credit can be used for the following things: the beverage package, the shore excursions, shopping on the ship, and the spa, etc. And yeah, the gratuities, they just take it from me. Huh? So, okay. What is the C-Pass? We talked about it already. You will receive the C-Pass from Celebrity at the Celebrity counter as we're checking in. So you'll get your C-Pass. Again, it's Pier 91. It contains your passport and credit card information. It is your cabin. It is your cabin key. Okay. It is your cabin key. Okay, very important. Okay. And it's your ID on the ship, so keep it safe, inshallah. Okay. So just as short excursions when we get off in Juneau. These are some things that we recommend, but it doesn't mean that you have to do these. There's the Mount Roberts tramway. It's a tram, basically, in the historic gold panning and a salmon bake thing. A lot of Alaska was like a gold digger's place. It used to be a place where people used to come to mine gold. And as a matter of fact, the person who was involved in Ketchikan and Juneau, also they took back thousands of pounds of gold, when they went to different places. There's a town tram. There's a guided tour of Juneau, and these prices are per person. So roughly $70 a person if you want to take a guided tour of Juneau. Skagway, again, these are some. We've heard that this White Pass Seattle Railway, $129. It's a beautiful scenic thing. Scenic journey. You go on top of the mountains, and it's just breathtaking. Some of this, you can even see some of these experiences on YouTube, and you'll get an idea of what you're going in for, and so on. There's the car tour. There's a glass blowing adventure, and then in Victoria, Canada, when we get off on the way back, the day on Thursday night. The Bouchard Gardens, they're world famous gardens. What is in your folder? These are some of the things that are in your folder: the ship map, itinerary, a list of onboard services, location of your cabin, and the important contact numbers. Okay? Okay, so this is where we stop here. And if you have any questions, jazakumullahu khairan. And again, we wish a beautiful trip for everyone, a trip that draws each one of us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At this point, inshallah, are there any questions before we go into the room assignments?
Just a comment. So,
Yeah.
for anyone who hasn't cruised before, usually the main dining room has dress codes. So they'll do like casual dress code for most dinners. Then they'll have 2 informal nights and 2 formal nights. So it's not like required, but it's highly recommended. So like formal night, the other guests will be in like tuxedos and suits for the men, and like formal gowns for the women. Informal will be just like slightly dressy. And casual can be like anything, but not jeans. So the jeans usually they don't allow any kind. So just to be aware when you pack, and you don't have to necessarily be in a tuxedo, but you know, you may feel a little uncomfortable if you don't have some kind of slightly formal wear or something.
Dress code?
You can hear what she said.
Mhm. Do they have on this cruise, Amreen, like as a sister said? I thought, yeah, on this one is a little.
They normally do that a lot for non-Muslims, they wear shorts and flip-flops and t-shirts, but the Muslims, they normally don't bother, and the women are older than formal wear anyway, we're in the or something like that. So they don't bother, you know, and so.
Yeah, now they're a little bit relaxed on the dress code, and they are mostly, what I've noticed, and pretty much all the cruise ships, what they are more on the, because people kind of dress very sloppy.
Right,
sloppy
that's what
and-
they want to prevent.
Yeah, so they want, if they say like chic dress like that,
Right.
they want the people to dress that,
Casual.
yeah,
Right.
casually and like dignified rather than like sloppy dress.
Right.
So
Okay.
now they are into that rather than really getting into tuxedo, so they're okay with that.
Right. I think like you said, our dress is always fine. It's like you said, I mean, I've been on cruises where
Yeah.
people come from the pool and they try to come, so that's what it's for, but I think main is just no jeans. I think
Yeah.
is the main thing
Yeah.
to take away
Right.
for us.
Yeah, because I was looking at the dress codes on this ship.
Yeah, and by the way,
That's what they have.
but by the way, I just want a word of caution. You know, I've had this experience myself and my wife also, that sometimes people will all of a sudden out of the blue come and just be very friendly and buddy-buddy with you. Just be on alert, you know, because of what they may be looking for and so on, and you know, trying to suggest different ideas to you and things, you know, wrong ideas, and you know, or talk about politics and such that you get you to say different things and so on. So just be on guard, especially in the current atmosphere that we're living in. You know, just be on guard. So, like for example, I remember we had this one experience when, you know, because quite a few of the workers that are on board are foreign workers. You know, they are like they're not allowed to get off the cruise ship. You know, and because they're foreign and they don't have, you know, so they may come up to you and say that, look, you know, can you get me into the country, or can you do this, or can you do that? And you, out of your, you know, sympathies, because some of them even pretend to be Muslim, and you, out of your sympathy, you know, brotherliness, you might, or sisterliness, say, yeah, I'll help you. But little do you know, you might be getting into something illegal. So just be on guard. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying be afraid, but just keep your guard up. That's all. Okay. Any other questions? Anybody else with any questions? Any sisters? Anything? Okay. So you want to just real quick? We have another 5-6 minutes. I guess 10 minutes. Really, we want to go through all the room assignments, or you want to send it to everybody by email? Okay. So you want to do it individually, Amreen, or you want to announce it, or? No, because what are the brothers going to do? How about on the brother's side?
Yeah, brothers, yeah, I can talk.
Each of the brothers, you have sisters, like
Yeah, my wife.
wives and so on. All of the brothers. Okay, so then inshallah, she can let your wife know, inshallah.
Take care of it.
Yeah, inshallah. Okay. So sisters, do remember your husband. Inshallah, they're in the same room. Okay, brothers and sisters, again, thank you so much for coming. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this trip a very successful trip, and may make a soul-searching trip, and make it a trip which brings us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wherein we experience not only the physical pleasures, but also experience the pleasure of the happiness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of His contentedness with us, and of pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May He have us experience taqwa and iman on this trip as well. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Yeah. Question?
And for the airport transfer to Seattle, we can organize a transfer to the airport for those people who are accompanying us. There's like several people, I think we have 10 people go together. So for that, there's the airport transfer, so they don't have to make an airport transfer.
Okay. So those people who are arriving in Seattle by between 5 and 7, should I say?
On the same flight as.
Or on the same flight, like with ourselves, with Sister Ambreen.
So the people who are on the same flight with us, who are accompanying with
Yeah.
us, I'm arranging the
A shuttle.
airport transfer from the airport to the hotel
Hilton.
because they are staying in the same hotel with us. So the airport transfer, we will take them from the airport to the hotel, but they will pay for the transfer, and hopefully the transfer will be like $10, and there will be cash, so that everybody will pay for their own transfer, and from the airport to the hotel. And from the Hampton Inn Hotel to the pier would be $7 shuttle. And then the hotel people will take care of the shuttle, but that would be also cash, right? And when we return from the cruise, pretty much, I believe everybody would be together, right? If I'm not mistaken, everybody will be returning unless there would be few, with the exception of few of the people, they will not be returning back to Washington DC. Then the transfer from the cruise ship to the airport, again the transfer would be like around $10, and then everybody would be paying cash for that. But they will be with us, and then we can decide who is with us and not. But then the transfer would be around $10. So
Okay.
we'll make sure that we take care of that.
Okay, brother, you all heard that, huh? Everybody heard that? Brother? Everybody heard what she said? Okay. Okay, inshallah, we're done at this point. Make sure that you take the refreshments, even take them with you.